you remember earlier on, we were talking about forgiveness, forgiving others and asking Allah's forgiveness. And we were quickly warned not to abuse the fact that we can ask Allah's forgiveness, and we shouldn't make it an excuse for us to continue to perpetuate what is wrong. We'd like our Imams to discuss further for us on that. Let me start with you, Imam Fuad. We ask Allah's forgiveness. What of when we forgive, when we offend one another? How do we go about it? And what about somebody who can't even say he's sorry?
Well, it's about three fundamental things now. You just raise.
Yes.
Forgiving, we have misunderstanding among us, seeking for forgiveness, refusing to forgive. So these are three things you just raised now. Well, it's natural. Like Mom was trying to explain, we are human beings. We are bound to commit mistakes. We are bound to offend ourselves. But when we offend ourselves, I think there are certain principles we have to understand with offending or being good to ourselves. I do not remember vividly. There's one instance, they said the Prophet ﷺ asked the Sahaba, people should come and ask, who has offended you and who do you think you have offended? This one will stand up, so person has offended me, the Prophet will say, that person should seek for forgiveness. The other will say, I've offended a particular person, so seek for forgiveness. The same until it got to, was it said now, Umar, that he said, he has never offended anybody and nobody has offended him. He said, you have come again. Say, how? He said, the issue is that he knows that whatever anybody has done to him, he has been destined to do that to him. And whatever he has done to anybody, that person has been destined to do that to him. I think we should look at it from that angle now, our relationship. The moment one is looking at others, that you always want to see the offense other people are committing, most of the time you take it so serious to the level that it becomes a problem even in your system. Like somebody define, you now become, you decide to be getting angry. And somebody define anger as punishment you impose on yourself for offense committed by other people. So when you pick that, when somebody offends you, the best thing is to discuss with that person. You have done so and so. If that person seeks for forgiveness, all well and good. If it doesn't, all well and good. But you have opened your mind and you have relieved yourself of unnecessary burden in your heart. And the person who has offended too, Quran tells us alladhina yunfikuna fi sarai wa darai wal khasimina al ghaiza wal afina 'anil nas wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin, that Allah really wants you to forgive and forget. But many people say they can forgive, but they find it to forget. No?
It's difficult.
It's difficult. But what you do, I know of somebody said, he will not forget, but he will erase that point from his brain. He will remember that person has done something wrong to him, but he will not remember what exactly he has done.
That is difficult too.
But he will try not to try.
But I think it's better we try. When shakes and say it's difficult, I don't know what
It's difficult doesn't mean it's impossible.
It's possible.
It's possible. So, but as much as possible, if you don't remove it from your heart, it becomes a dark spot. We continue to make your heart heavy. Continuously, you just be carrying other people's burden in your heart. And that is just it.
Maybe the person will be moving
Before you moving around freely, you'll be burdened. And also, it is not the culture of Islam for anybody to say, I will not forgive. What has happened that for life, nothing will join me and him together. That is not the culture of Islam. It is not right for a Muslim to talk that way. Like one president said, he said during a coup, your best enemy can become your closest friend. And your closest friend can become your number one enemy. It means we have to prepare for tomorrow. That you are a friend with somebody today, that does not mean that person cannot offend you. That you are not in good time with somebody, that does not mean you cannot come together again. I think we should all prepare for a time when we have no power.
So don't say, I will never forgive this person. Now, let's hear from you.
Yes, Imam has said it all. That long as we live together, tendencies of offending one another is very clear because we are human. So, and that will appear, or you can see it clearly in our attitude, in our talkings, in our behavior. And that's why the area of forgiveness is something that Allah wants us to be forgiven. That's why He opened the gate. So I think human beings should not close it, because what Allah has opened, and He is actually happy to see His servant repenting. So who are you now to say no? You will not forgive. If you did not forgive, and Allah did not forgive you, you too will not give. You will not go free. So the only thing is we should not abuse it, as said by Imam. You should make the best use of it. And the verses of Quran has confirmed it, as she has recited, that we must eschew our anger, and we must forgive one another, and then life continues like that. Yes, the only thing we should try to understand here is that when you are seeking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's much easier. It's much easier. Allah will forgive you straight away. But if you are offending fellow human being, that has conditions. Number one, if you take his valuable, you just can't take somebody's money and you say sorry, and you say no. This is very yes. If it is his honor, like you backbite, you abuse him, you say ill of him in absential, there may be not much because it doesn't have value of money. But anything material, it must be returned back. And yes, in government too, I'm coming to that. Because stealing government money is even more dangerous than stealing an individual money. Because if you steal from an individual and you go to him and he tell you, and you tell him and he said, I have forgiven you, that's all. If he has forgiven you and he said with the condition of returning back, you must return it back to him. But if you steal 1 million naira of Nigerians as a governor, as a president, as a minister, as a commissioner, as the head of any organization, you must return that amount of money back to all Nigerians. Of course, I don't know how he will do it, but because you know how he stole the money, so you should know how to do it. So the reality is that that condition has been there in Islam, that any valuable you collect either by force, either by secret, either by whatsoever way, that must be returned back. Because the condition is that number one, you repent sincerely, and then you regret, and then you don't go back to it, and then you return valuables. Yes, these are the conditions. Yes, you must repent, you must regret. That's saying that you are not going back to it, and then there is no way about it. You must return the valuables. So people should note this area very serious. And stealing Nigerian money is more dangerous than individual, because the individual will go back to him, but Nigerians, all of them, if you refuse, on the day of, yes, on the day of Qiyamah, you will pay the 200 million people.
It's a very serious matter. Yes. The campaign against corruption and corrupt practices are very important. So when we get to LBB time, please let's talk about this. It's getting very interesting. And of course, don't forget, when we talk about forgiveness, try to forgive yourself too, and move on with your life after you've made some reparation. Make some, good, do a lot of good deeds that's going to cover whatever bad you must have done in the past, and especially, like we said, forgive yourself and move on with your life. Thank you very much. We're in the forgiveness mood now. May Almighty Allah forgive all of us and continue to guide us right in all we do.